Hey everybody, it's your boy, Arkin here. You know, the guy painstakingly reviewing all these free to play games on the PlayStation 5. I don't want you to leave the video right at this moment, but I'm going to give you a brief summary of my experience with Planetside 2. But before I do, let's get into what it is first. Planetside 2 is a free to play, massive scale, first person shooter where thousands of players battle for control of continents on planet Xers. Players choose one of three unique factions: the new conglomerate, the Terrarian Republic, or the Yenu Sovereignty, and engage in large scale infantry, ground, vehicle, and air combat. The game features persistent battles that can last for days, with strategic territory control and teamwork being crucial for victory. It features things like massive scale battles, faction based combat, vehicle and infantry gameplay. It's free to play. The gameplay experience, well, on the wiki, it says strategic objectives, teamwork, diverse environments. This game is 13 years old. Um, I would say it didn't age well over the amount of time it's been on PlayStation, I believe. Obviously, because of the amount of time it is, it's probably PlayStation 4 first. I think it was even PC before that. I didn't have a good experience with this one. I know it sounds great, right? When you read from the synopsis online, it sounds really good. It sounds like something that's fun and exciting. It was horrendous. There was no sense of direction, which I'm okay with for some things. Like I love DayZ. I love how it just drops you in. You got to touch and go from there. As you can see in the back here, I kind of figured it out a little bit as I went along. These clips are going to be kind of a mess. I'm not even bothering with putting this thing together in a cohesive timeline because it was such a hot mess. It was horrendous. The combat was weird. Navigation was almost impossible. There was one game mode, like the wiki mentions, one big giant map. And the concept sounds fun. I mean, I don't want to compare it to Battlefield, but it's almost like Conquest and, on some far off, distant alien planet. This wasn't good. The execution wasn't there. You need money, spend real world money to buy vehicles and new classes and guns and all types of stuff. It is a pretty big cash grab. Uh, the gameplay was not fun. I spent most of my time traversing this huge, huge map, seeking out gunfights, going from objective to see no one there. I spent a lot of time in the beginning. There's a lot of cut footage where I was just simply trying to figure out how to start the game, how to jump in and get it going. So it's not very intuitive for a new player. Uh, I didn't get a chance to use any of the vehicles. There's a complicated system on the landing pads to get those installed, to get them to you, that sort of stuff. So I didn't get to use any of them. I had a little bit of the first-hand experience with the combat. It was out of date. It was clunky. It was janky. It was loose. I didn't have any sense of feeling any sort of myself being in control. I got the haptic triggers on the PlayStation 5 controller. None of that was implicated in this. It just overall was not a fun experience. If you look here, you see a little bit of combat that I'm getting into. My first-person shooter skills are not the best in the world, but they're better than average, I would say. Played a lot of COD, a lot of Battlefield. So, I'm no noob when it comes to FPSs, but this was just not fun, not intuitive. I'm going to give it a 2. On the replay scale, on the fun factor, it's getting a 2. Even though this is free, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, I don't want to beat it up too bad. I will give it a few positives before we go here. I think if you had a big friend group who played this would be fun. If you had some people to maybe show you the ropes, I see where the vision is, and I understand, I guess, why it's been around so long. If you had some people that were into this hardcore and you could go on their team, I'm sure it would be a lot of fun. So if that's the case, then yeah, I totally recommend installing and uploading and using your precious time on this game. The maps were huge. It's a fun idea. And that's all the positives I have. So that's my overall synopsis. Like I said, a 2 on the fun factor. Definitely don't recommend, even though it's free. Sorry this video is so short. Sorry about the audio quality. I'm still coming up in the YouTube world, so I'm hoping that eventually I make a few bucks and I can use that to invest into equipment and put out better videos for you, my lovely audience. The next one I think is going to be called Crossout. That's the next free game. I installed it, but I think it's called Crossout. So that'll be the next video. Stick around and stay tuned for that one. I've been Arkin. You guys have been wonderful. And until next time, stay cool.